Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're back with another totally blind head-to-head where we react to the pours and the prices before we find out what we're sipping.
If it's an available whiskey, is it worth the money?
If it's hard to find, is it worth the hype and the hunt?
Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
In these head-to-head videos, we randomly select one of the matchups from our blind sample pool to taste totally blind so that you get our most honest, unbiased opinions possible. You'll see what we think about each of the pours separate and apart from any labels or hype. We'll tell you how we think they compare, and in the end, we'll give them what we call a real-world score, which is based on the price, the availability, whether we would buy it again or not, and of course on the blind tasting itself.
So if that sounds like something you're into, be sure to give this video a like, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos.
Absolutely. Hit the bell while you're down there so that you know when we're releasing videos and when we're doing our monthly live streams. After you hit the bell, go ahead and check out the video description for a link to our Patreon. Over there, that's our community element and the interactive element of the channel. So if you like blind tastings like this, then you can get plugged in on some virtual blind flight nights that we do with our Patreon community, all kinds of sample swaps and giveaways going down over there. We also do 2 additional videos every week, and that's our community element where you can get in on our Discord server.
There's also a link to our merch store down in the video description. You can want if you want to wear Josh's shirt, just check it out at stuffandwhiskey.com.
All right, let's run our randomizer and see which one of these pairs from our pool we're tasting today.
6.
6, so that's 5 dead in the middle, so this will be 6.
Cool.
We'll get these poured and we'll be back with our first impressions on both of these pours. All right, let's get into glass 1.
This smells like whiskey to me. It is what it is.
Yeah, to me, this is smelling really sweet with a nice oaky balance. It smells really, really pleasant. It doesn't smell, it doesn't smell too heavy-handed. There's not a ton of layers there, but there are some. And it smells really enjoyable. Yeah. Can't wait to get this on the palate. Let's go.
Okay, this has some flavor. It's like a light popsicle stick flavor.
Yeah, that's your oak note.
Yeah.
So to me, everything that I got on the nose, which was like a white sugary sweetness, a little bit of apple, and some oak, all that transfers right over to the palate. I could even pick up a little bit of like an apple cherry kind of conglomeration going on.
I get some green apple.
Yeah, it tastes really pleasant. Like this, this to me is like we're in the thick of the summer as of the recording of this, and when you're seeing this several weeks later, and this is like. This fits the mood of the day because it's hot.
It's hot, and this doesn't feel like it's too high proof. Yeah. So I can drink it and not even make my body temperature more hot.
Yeah, definitely an easy sip on the first sip. Let's get into another sip to see what's up.
Yeah, same thing for me. Same popsicle stick, but nice. Like it's pleasant. Yeah, it's got a pleasant taste.
Pleasant was the word that I was thinking of. Like I think I've said this before, but this is the glass that like it's the guy that holds the door open for you. Oh, like it's just
you hold the door open for me. Is that are you this glass?
This is nice and pleasant. I am getting something I don't like on it, which is like a little bit of that like aspartame artificial sweetener kind of aftertaste. That's what it hits me as. It reminds me of that, but it's kind of the way that the oak turns a little bit on the finish.
Interesting.
And like a little bit of like a, I don't know if I would call it sour. It's not really bitter. It's maybe like a little sour. Like you could almost say like a sour apple.
I'd say tart.
Tart.
Because I was getting green apple. I think I said that earlier. Yeah. Maybe green apple. And also let it be known that as per usual, once I've tasted this, when I go back to smelling, I'm getting more from the nose than I originally got.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into glass 2 and see what we're working with here.
This smells, coming off of glass 1, this smells dark.
Yeah.
Or darker.
Yeah.
Compared to the one we just had.
I tend to think of flavor profiles kind of equivalent to candy. So like this is more of like your hard candies
like
or your sweet, sugary, fruity candies. This is more on like the candy bar, chocolatey side of the equation.
Yeah, it smells a little darker.
It's very syrupy smelling after coming off of glass 1. It smells really good on the nose. Let's get into the palate.
Whoa, this has more earthiness to the flavor than I expected. Is it for you?
Yeah, there's a little bit of, so when you say earthiness, to me, I think you're coming at it from a couple of different angles.
Maybe.
And sometimes I think it's barrel char that you're picking up on. And sometimes I think it's nuttiness that you're picking up on, and I'm getting both of those on this. It's a little nutty, it's a little barrel charry.
Yeah, but like initially,
really chocolatey.
Initially, I got that up front, and then after, it's like very watery.
Yeah, so glass 1 kind of had that aspartame kind of twist on the end of it. This just kind of trails off.
Yeah.
It's a little
I would
thin
say
on the
it kind of
finish.
falls off a little bit.
Well, let's get into another sip and see, just to be sure.
Okay. So I do like the flavor of this. I just wish it didn't. It still falls off for me.
Yeah.
I just wish it didn't do that. I wish it sustained because it's really good. It's kind of earthy, but lightly earthy, not overpoweringly earthy.
Yeah.
And then it just goes bye.
It's sticking around for me. It's lingering quite a bit. Not strongly, but I would call the finish faint but lingering. I'm getting kind of all your candy bar notes. I don't know if that's what I'm thinking in my head or whatever, but that's what this reminds me of. I mean, you're getting your chocolate, your caramel, your peanuts, your nougat. It's all up in there. It's almost like a Snickers bar, not quite as rich as that. There is a little bit of brightness in there as well, but I think both of these are really good. It's almost, at least on first impression, is going to come down to personal preferences because they're very comparable in experience.
Yeah.
I can't wait to spend some time with these glasses. We'll do that now. After spending some time with both of these pours, what do you think? Let's start with glass 1.
Okay, so for me, glass 1, like I said before, as I drank it, the nose opened up. Gets a thumbs up on the nose. Good overall. Flavor, thumbs up. Overall experience, thumbs up.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. Glass 1 to me was like a dark fruit punch that had been barrel aged. So I give it a thumbs up on the nose, thumbs up on the flavor, thumbs up on the experience. We're going to talk about it more in a minute. Let's get into glass 2 for right now. Where are you at?
So I also enjoyed glass 2. So it gets a thumbs up on nose, thumbs up on flavor, and thumbs up on experience. I have some notes later too, though. Okay.
For me, glass 2, I said it was like a stack of chocolate chip pancakes with maple syrup and like those peanut chunks like you would get on a sundae.
Okay.
But they're on top of the syrup and pancakes.
Okay.
So I'm getting all that in that. So for me, and that's nose and flavors, thumbs up on the nose, thumbs up on the flavors, and then thumbs up on the experience. I thought both of these had nice finishes and nice mouthfeels for what seems to be a fairly low proof point.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite? How are you feeling? Like, how do they compare to you?
So that was hard because when I tried glass 1 first, I liked glass 1 better. When I tried glass 2 first, I liked glass 2 better. So I think it literally, whichever one I tried first in the back and forth was the one I liked better. So it's like a flip of a coin. They're different flavors, but they're both good for what they are. So I couldn't pick a favorite. Like if I had to, I couldn't.
Honestly, it's the same for me. Like I typically mark which one is my favorite. I literally could not pick between these two because they're so similar in their overall experience. The only thing different to me is their flavor profile.
Yeah.
Like front to back, including the experience, the finish, the mouthfeel.
Yeah.
They're both really good. It's a hot summer day today while we're filming this. So during daylight hours, I might gravitate towards glass 1, but once the sun goes down, I'm probably going to switch over to glass 2.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy to have a bottle of both of these.
I will say glass 2, as I drank it more, the flavor and finish did linger around more the more sips I took. But both of the finishes were very thin, but I think it's because they're low proof. I do want to say, just as a side note, on glass 2, when I was drinking it, I got butterscotch, which is a flavor I have never gotten before at a whiskey, and it's honestly a flavor I don't really like as far as like butterscotch chips and cookies. Like I don't like it, but I was just so proud of myself for picking up on that note that I was like, oh, I had to write it down, so I wrote butterscotch. I was proud of myself.
All right, on that note, let's find out what these are, what we've been drinking. Price first, then what the product is. All right, you know the drill. Price first, then product. Okay. So glass 1 is number 56.
56.
All right, so somebody didn't do their job for the channel and update the blind answer key.
Yeah.
So I'm slacking a little bit. We are on the right page now. I do not know what these are. Erin is looking at what they are right now.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the prices, she says, though. So we're going to go with what we've got, and we'll work through it. So number 56
is Elmer T Lee.
Glass 1, Elmer T Lee. Okay, that makes sense. That tastes very Buffalo Tracy. Makes sense. Number 55.
Old Forester Statesman.
Oh, yeah.
So what are the prices on both of these?
Yes. So Elmer T Lee is like, it's supposed to be $43. We paid $42.99. We'll talk about how unavailable it is in a minute.
Oh gosh.
Glass number 2, Old Forester Statesman, is $50. Very readily available at $50. I remember we tried Old Forester Statesman in a first sip recently.
Okay.
And it really surprised me. And
what's the proof on these?
Elmer T Lee 90, Old Forester Statesman 95. When we had Old Forester Statesman in our first sip, I remember being so impressed by how much flavor was in it for such a low proof.
Yeah.
And how sweet it was. So that's why I put it in the blind head-to-head pool against Elmer T Lee, because Elmer T Lee is lower proof as well.
Yeah.
And granted, this does have a few more proof points. That did not stand out to me on either glass.
I thought they were both kind of the same proof.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fascinating consumer discussion. They're both really, really good. And if you're watching this and you're seeing Elmer T Lee sitting on the shelves for like $300, then...
Oh my gosh, that's a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing. So this might be a good alternative, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We are a consumer-based channel that tries to keep things down to earth and relatable around here. So to us, things like price, availability, and whether we would buy it again or not matter a whole lot.
Yep.
So with that said, we're going to get into our retail and consumer ratings on both of these pours. Retail being the price and availability, and consumer score being whether we would buy it again or not, spend our actual money on this product. So Elmer T Lee in our market should be $42.99, and that's what we paid for this bottle. However, oftentimes, if it's sitting on a shelf, it's $300. The only way to get it for $43 is if you happen to catch it in like a year-end lottery. Old Forester Statesman is $50 and pretty much readily available on every liquor store shelf in town. So let's start with glass 1. Where are you at on Elmer T Lee for retail and consumer scores?
So the actual price, $43, is not bad, but the fact that you have to wait for it, like if you want to pay retail for it for a raffle, is just okay. So I'm giving it just okay overall.
Okay. And then would you buy it if you ran across it for $43?
Probably not.
Okay. So thumbs down, hard pass? Are you a hard pass? Or are you just a probably not?
You know what? I'm just a probably not. So I'm just going to give it a just okay.
Okay.
I'm not a hard pass. I'm like a probably pass.
Okay. I'm going to give it a thumbs down on retail. It's just so hard to get your hands on in our market, and what they go for with price gouging stores or on secondary is just too high. However, would I buy another bottle again or not if I ran across it? Thumbs up. Honestly, the rarity does play into that a little bit, because if these were sitting 10 deep on a shelf, I would probably pass it most of the time, and I would only replace it once we ran out of the bottle we had.
So the fact that you can't get it makes you more likely to want to buy it when you can't.
If I got an opportunity to at $43, yeah, absolutely. But I'm not.
Would you pay $300 for it?
No, I would. $50 is my hard limit on this bottle. I'm not $60. I'm out the door without a bottle. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. I don't flip bottles. We don't flip bottles. That's not our style. So
what about glass 2?
I'm not buying it.
Where are you at?
Glass 2, where are you at? I'm the one that you're trying to take over host duties here.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Where are you at on retail and consumer for Old Forester Statesman?
Okay, so you said $50?
$50, super readily available.
So, for the lower proof, it's not like my favorite price point, but it's not a bad price point by any means, so I'm going to give it just okay. And then, would I spend $50 on this specific bottle? Probably not, but maybe, so also just okay.
Okay, for me, it's going to get a thumbs up on price. I could almost go just okay, because for $50, there's so many more things available for at like a higher proof point that I would prefer.
Yeah, but this is good in the summer.
This is a great summer sipper. Yeah. And it's, to have that much flavor in a sub 100 proof pour is really nice. Yeah. So it does get a good mark there for me. Would I buy it for $50 or not? Thumbs up. Once this bottle runs out, I'll for sure replace it. I would love to have a bottle of this around. And honestly, this is going to have to go in our blind head-to-head pool against something like Old Forester 1897, because I think I might prefer this over the 100 proof bottle and bond version.
Interesting. We get our real world scores by adding up the thumbs you see on the screen.
There are 10 possible points available, but this ain't Buffalo Trace or Brown-Forman's 10-point scoring system.
Nope, it's a bell curve.
It is a bell curve, and most things fall in the middle of it. The way we look at it, honestly, is if you can get a 5, which is like thumbs up across the board, that's a good solid value for the money.
Yep.
even like a 4 is getting into the middle of that bell curve, but you really got to get above something like a 6 to start being really exceptional in more than just one category. With that said, let's get into our real world scores for Elmer T Lee, glass 1. Where are you at?
So I did not do my adding.
Erin's now not doing her job for the channel.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Elmer T Lee has a 4.
All right.
So it's in that middle point range.
Oh, I'm sitting here, I'm throwing stones in a glass house. I didn't do my adding either, but Elmer T Lee for me gets a 4 as well. Right there in the bulk of the midpoint range, which means it's a good quality pour, but nothing exceptional.
Yeah.
Which, if you're paying $300 for it, it probably ought to be exceptional.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Let's get into Old Forester Statesman. Where are you at real world score?
Same score, 4.
Okay.
It goes with what I said. I couldn't pick a favorite. They're both good.
Yeah. To me, Old Forester Statesman gets a 5 out of 10. Good, solid quality pour for the money.
Yeah.
And it edged out Elmer T Lee for me personally, just based on the fact that it is a little bit more available.
Yeah.
And there's not so much of a headache trying to get your hands on a bottle that, like I said, 40-ish bucks, maybe 50. That's like a reasonable price for both of these.
Yeah.
If you like sweet bourbon and you get a chance to buy either one of these, buy them.
Yeah, they're not overly sweet though. I do
Right.
want to say that because I don't like things that are overly sweet.
Yeah.
And I would not say these are too sweet.
I will say I do think that if you cannot find Elmer T Lee in your market, while the flavor profile is not an exact equivalent, getting something like Old Forester Statesman, or not something like, just get Old Forester Statesman.
Yeah.
When we tried it all by itself, not back to back, it reminded me of Elmer T Lee. As for how sweet it was, how it had fruity elements to it, but it had some depth to kind of balance it out from the oak. These are both really good pours if you can get the bottles for $50 or under. I wouldn't pass on them if you could get them at 50 or under either one.
Yeah.
Give them a shot, see if you like them, especially if you're shopping around this time of the year. They're both great summertime sippers.
Great summertime. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.
Be good to each other, and if you want to do some good, check out the video description below. You can find our email address and you can get plugged in with us on our charity fundraiser that we do every October for mental health. We go through GoFundMe to raise money for To Write Love on Her Arms, a charity organization that provides hope and direct help for people in need. This is a big thing for us, and this is what we use your viewership for. So if you're going to watch, you're going to get this. And what we need from you is bottle donations. Bottle donations from the community drove the efforts last year, and we raised $15,000 to give directly to Write Love. And this year we're trying to up that. So as a community effort, and with your help, we can do that. So reach out at stuffandwhiskey@gmail.com.
Till next week.
Cheers. I was noticing in the edit, there were times where I'd be saying something, I'd be like, blah, 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 blah.
So,
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I'm like yeah.
Where do I get in?
And then you're like, you don't ever say anything. I want you to say more. I'm like, I say as much as I can. Like, when can I say more?
I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better.
Ooh.
You haven't.
I have a note. I have a note that I've never.
You got a note
that I've never gotten before, and I'm so excited to share it.
Okay. I'll keep my eyes on my own paper.
Okay, don't look.
I don't want to copy your work.
I actually feel like a real whiskey drinking person.
Ooh.
I don't even like this flavor, but because I got this flavor, I think this is my favorite. Like in real life, I don't like this flavor on things.
Well, don't get biased. Don't get biased. That's the whole point.
I know.
of doing
I'm not
going
gonna
be biased.
I'm not gonna get biased. I'm gonna give it.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.